What's going on, Workforce? Brian here, and today I am excited to share with you an updated tier list video based off the media tour, based off the preview of Shadowbringers that we got to go and play hands-on just a few days ago. With that, I do want to say that this is a pre-release build. All of this is subject to change. All the information and footage that you're about to see as a part of this is subject to change, and we will have to see what happens at the end result. This is also not a power rankings video. Like, there's no way to kind of inform what the meta is going to be at 5.0, at 5.1 and beyond. So what this is just my takeaway, my impressions, what I loved and what was surprising and what was either disappointing or not necessarily as exciting from the game itself. This could completely change. Again, we had 7 hours to really kind of go and play this game, so I played it all the jobs. I try to get as much experience with each and every one as as possible, and so it is going to be what it is, ultimately. So hopefully you guys, I'd love to know your thoughts. I'd love to know your questions as we go. And again, pre-release build, all that can change, will change. So we'll just leave it at that. So what we see here is actually where we last left off. This is the last tier list that we've had and where all the different jobs have fallen. So there is definitely some big changes. We also now have Dancer and Gunbreaker listed over here as well. We'll get to them in a minute because there's definitely some adjustments that we have to play around with. First, I'm going to start with Blue Mage. Everybody thought, well, not everybody, some people thought it was a fair score with C. Blue Mage did not show up at all to, to the event, so he is going to drop right there into the F slot. We'll have to see what happens with the first update, whether it's 5.1 or mid-tier, 5 point something where they update him, but he did not show up at all at the media event or in the trailer. And if you guys haven't seen my, I guess, Blue Mage reacts to that, I hope you go check it out. I'll include a link either in the description or somewhere in the title cards for this video. So you can see here, we're going to start with some really what was impressive. Obviously, Monk and Machinist here really dragging it in the bottom. I'm going to say, like, my time with the Machinist was not as much as I'd like, but I did get to play it, and that trailer, the freaking robot that you get to summon, I'm going to set him tentatively over here at an S tier. I don't know where that's going to ultimately be, but it felt, at least I felt really heard with the issues that I found with Machinists. It's like they focus more on guns, but now they're focusing on the concept of machines, and you've seen it. Now, when we got to go hands-on with the Machinist, it was, we did a lot of fates and different fate grinding. So when we would sync, we would not necessarily be level 80. So we didn't have the full kit with everything we played. But when we were just kind of going out, killing monsters in the open world, that was where it was really exciting to play this job and kind of go on from there. I'm going to pull Monk into kind of the A slot tentatively right now, namely because obviously 4 Grease Lightning stacks. Monk, out of all the jobs that I played, felt the fastest, I guess to say that. A very poor grammar expression there. Monk was so fast. It hit hard and it moved so quick, especially when you got that 4th stack of Grease Lightning, and the fact that some of your skills have those charge abilities that we've seen that Yoshi P showed off and that he talked about in the live letter. That is exactly what I was wanting. It really was interesting, and so I'm going to have to give Monk another look, especially when it comes down to it and comes to the new expansion. I honestly was like, I don't know if I really want to level Monk. I don't know if I'm going to really be interested in Machinist. I'm telling you right now, they have really sparked my interest in how all those things came together. So there's a couple things here, and this isn't going to knock anything, about it. Honestly, like, this is, again, the impressions that I got from playing it. There were some jobs that really stood out to me. Personally, I'm going to keep Summoner here in the S tier as well. I got to spend time with Summoner. I love Summoner. I'm biased. I know Summoner for Life is phenomenal. Red Mage, I'm going to drop down into a B tier. It didn't feel, personally for me, that it did a lot that was really impressive, and Yoshi P already talked about that. He talked about Red Mage and Black Mage, which I'm going to bring Black Mage to hang out here with Red Mage. They didn't, in my mind, do anything specific that really just blew me away. Now, that's not to say that they're bad. These jobs, they could probably be the most powerful casters in the game, hands down. But my time with them was fun, but it wasn't something blown away. Again, I would probably still default my time to the Summoner more than anything else in its toolkit. I'm going to bring White Mage up to a B here in this case. White Mage with the wings and with how they changed how the lilies worked. Honestly, I thought it was a really solid change all around. They really nailed it from my time, my time with it. I want to keep hitting on that because, again, come 5.0, we're going to have to wait and see what happens. I really thought it was, I was just blown. I was really impressed by it, and I really enjoyed going in. In fact, I spent more time playing my White Mage than I did my Scholar. And so I'm going to actually drop Scholar down to a B ranking from my time with it. The fairy, the new upgraded fairy, definitely impressive, but my time with it, I felt it was weird, like, and maybe weird for the best reasons. They've, like, without separating Summoner and Scholar, they've separated Summoner and Scholar. You only have two quote-unquote class abilities. Everything else is focusing in on the job, and it's just, it's there, and it just, who knows? Like, ultimately, I'm probably going to go and have Scholar be my main healer. Ultimately, you know, we're going to have to see where it goes, but my takeaway was I was a little bit just flabbergasted in a way. Like, there was a lot that actually changed with how Scholar functioned, and that's just where that ended up falling for me. Ninja was really cool. Ninja was definitely freaking amazing with the shadows. Like, that was great. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, just the fact that they had that double hit ability. I mean, when you see in the trailer with the shadows, that felt amazing. Now, was my rotation, was my gameplay perfect? Absolutely not. There's still much more that I have to learn about the ninja, but I'm really excited to see how it plays together. I felt the Monk was faster. So like when we put Monk into an A, that's it jumping up and really kind of impressing me. Ultimately, it's going to be interesting to see where Monk, Samurai, and Ninja ultimately fall. I'm actually going to put Samurai back into the B slot. They do a lot of cool things. The fact that you got that, you're using the hilt and you're using the sheath. I guess that's the right term for when you hit that move. That's really powerful and quite fascinating. We're gonna have to go and see. I did not spend as much time as I liked with Samurai as I was playing, and really impressed by Monk and Ninja in this case. Bard, ultimately, I'm going to have to move down into the C slot. This could be a job that just blows me away, but when it comes down to the new jobs, when it comes to everything that they've listed, honestly, it just felt like Bard. Now, we're going to have to dive in more with the job and give you guys more details about how that ends up playing out in the long run, but we'll have to wait and see. The thing that kind of also was really frustrating, I'm going to move the Astro. Actually, I'm going to move him down to the C. I was thinking B, but I'm going to put him into the C slot. Astrologian, with the changes in the cards, felt like a very big kind of nerf overall. Now, I get that it's going to be easier to play healing, and I think that's kind of where they're moving everything to. More to the healing, more to buffing your party. So I think Astrologian probably is going to be maybe a must-have when it comes down to rating. Namely because of the fact that you're just boosting everybody's damage very often. That's what the cards themselves do. I personally was just like, it was a little bit weird. It was a little bit annoying. I think when you look at it, when you look at the gameplay decisions of why it went the way it is, that's going to be probably a good move overall. So when it comes down to it, when we're actually looking at brass tacks and numbers, I think Astrologian is going to be really strong. But when I was playing it, I just was like, okay, like draw the card, you know, play around with it. I don't know. It just didn't do anything that really just stood out to me. More so than what White Mage was doing, and more so than what the Scholar was doing in this case. Dragoon felt really strong. It felt strong because it easily, I think, addressed some of the issues people have been having. It still obviously is on a timer, and if it wasn't on a timer, then the question I would have is, what's the difference between it and Samurai? But Dragoon, with its jump abilities, with its with its new, I'm not Akmorn, but I guess that's a version of it. But with its new, just, oh my gosh, like that jump with his eyes, with how easy I thought it was to get into that rotation, felt so much smoother. And as a controller player, Dragoon losing heavy swing or heavy stab, or whatever the hell, heavy thrust, was a much, I guess, needed improvement. I felt like that always was just this awkward thing that you had to, that was obligatory. That being gone, I think simplifies my rotations a little bit. And as a controller player, I thank thee so much for these Dragoon changes. Paladin, shield swipe, thank you. Coming back up here, S rank, really thought it was great. Obviously, the tactics references were a huge plus in my opinion. Thank you very much for it. I'm going to bring Dark Knight up here. Freaking shadows, guys. Like, this is amazing. You summon your own shadow. It feels great. It plays great. I love it. I am so impressed by what I saw and what I played with the Dark Knight. I'm really blown away. Very pleased ultimately with it. And so that leaves Warrior. I spent a little time with Warrior, and Warrior's been my main. But I'm gonna have to give it a B ranking. It could be that I still didn't really fully understand the changes, and honestly, that is probably going to be true for all of these jobs here as well. Like to be able to grasp all 17 jobs, their changes, and have a really good understanding of the rotation and how everything kind of combos with these changes. I just wasn't blown away by Warrior. That doesn't mean that it won't be my main, and that doesn't mean that it's not any good or anything you need to worry about. But foundationally, like, oh, right, like Dark Knight, shadows, like, oh my gosh. And then the one thing that I wanted Paladin to have, the one thing that Warrior added last expansion, was that gap closer. And so I don't know. I'm gonna have to play obviously all the tanks to get a feel for really what I want to main. So that brings us obviously here to the 2 new jobs as well. So with that, let's talk about Dancer. Dancer is incredible. I loved every minute that I played with this job. I liked how it worked. I liked how it functioned. I loved the dance steps. I loved the dance partner mechanic. I like that you have it felt unique. It felt like you had, it's almost kind of like a blend between ninja and maybe Bard, maybe a little bit like that range DPS, and also a little bit of the healing aspect. So it really is checking off a lot of the boxes what I was hoping Dancer would ultimately be. There is a weird skill gap in their abilities, and I'm thinking we're probably going to end up seeing that within all of these. So I don't know how the early game is going to play, not necessarily with Dancer because it starts at quote-unquote level 60, but for these jobs, for all the ones that, and new players, like, did the skill squish or anything like that end up removing a lot of abilities for the starter jobs? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, you can't get into group content until 15, and at least at that point, you do have a couple of abilities. We've talked about the Dancer and the Gunbreaker in our detailed breakdown of their skills, so we'll leave it at that. Gunbreaker was great. Like, I have like no complaints. They have a lot of skills, and as a controller player, that's going to be probably a challenge for me when I step into the job itself. So that's like going to be, well, I talk about another video as part of Gunbreaker and its detailed breakdown. I'll put them here because they're the new ones, and you can see how they stack up against the other jobs as well. So again, like I said, this is not the power rankings, and this is not going to be any implication on raid utility or where we go with it, but that is what I'm thinking. That's the impressions that I've got for all these jobs. A lot of impressive visual aspects. We've talked about it in 1,000 videos today, maybe not 1,000, but hopefully you guys have enjoyed the content today, and hopefully you guys are as excited as I am for the future of this game. I cannot express to you how much that I feel that Shadowbringers is answering a lot of the concerns that I've had built up for the game. Open world content, answered by Fates. Machinist, like, why would I play it? Oh, hey, here's a freaking robot. And then Dark Knight is just impressive. I really cannot wait to kind of dive into the technical side of this to really kind of get a good feel for how everything plays. I'm sure several of the other creators out there have spent a lot of time diving into the technicals of certain jobs, so be sure to check those out. I'll try to include links to the different content as it's discovered in the description of these videos as well. But guys, let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns in the comments below. I will also include the link to this document in the description of this video if you feel like making your own as we go into Shadowbringers. I love to see any and all rankings from you guys as well. And as requested, we'll also probably be doing kind of how we feel and then a power rankings version of these when we get some real detailed numbers going into Shadowbringers. But for Work to Game, my name is Brian. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Hey guys, it's me, Brian. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you're new here, we hope you hit that subscribe button. Check us out. We talk a lot about video games, and we hope to at least hear from you in the comments below. We also try to respond to our comments. You know, we really appreciate the comments, the discussion, all the various points of view that everybody is so kindly, I guess, and politely or impolitely shares with us from time to time. So anyway, guys, again, thanks for watching this video. We hope you hit that like button. We hope you hit that subscribe button. Come back for more content each and every day. We post a lot around here, and we'd love to hear from you about what you like about video games and everything, and especially if you have any questions that you're stuck on in anything. So anyway, signing off. See you next time.